Good morning, everybody. I hope you've had a well-rested weekend. I definitely have, and I wanted to share with you this very easy pasta recipe, creamy mushroom pasta recipe using leftover pasta. Obviously, if you don't have leftover pasta, you can just use ordinary pasta, but the star of the dish is the mushrooms and the creamy sauce, and just keep watching.
If it hasn't come across as obvious to you already, I'm very passionate about plant-based nutrition. I really love plants. Wow.
1 mile in fog patches and showers early Friday, but improving to greater than 6 miles on Friday morning.
Stars shining bright above you.
That is my tofu scramble.
Friday morning.
Stars shining bright above. Sycamore tree. Dream a little dreamer. Breeze seem to. Breezes seem to whisper.
Garlic, your seasoning. It's all about the seasoning, guys. It's always all about the seasoning. Obviously, I'm not claiming to hold all the answers, but I would love to share the few that I do have through recipes and cooking and trying out new things and just sharing my love with the rest of the world. With that being said, I also want to help break that glass ceiling that I think is over South Africa when it comes to food.
Okay, to start off with our delicious, very simple creamy mushroom pasta, I am just preparing my aromatics here, of which I'll be using sliced garlic. I sliced up 3 cloves and as well as half a shallot. And the reason I'm using a shallot is because, you know, it's kind of like a garlic and an onion made a baby. It's a little bit sweeter and much more fragrant and has a lot more flavor. So you want to use simple ingredients, but you want to ensure that they're quality ingredients so that you're not missing out on flavor. Next, I'll be preparing my mushrooms. I am using white button mushrooms because that's what we had on hand at home in the fridge. But I do suggest that for you to get the most flavor out of your dish, that you use the brown mushrooms instead. They are a little bit more expensive, but you know, as some things in life in this capitalist society, you do have to pay a price for the better things sometimes. Anyway, if you're not really that big of a fan of the mushroom flavor, if you don't really mind, then the white button mushrooms should do as well. They're fine. They're really fine. Just so long as you cook them well, you can still try and do your best to bring out the wonderful flavors that we can get in white button mushrooms too. All I'm saying is that the mushroom flavor is not as strong, that's all. Next, we will be cooking up our aromatics, which is the shallot and onions in some butter. I've already added in 2 tablespoons of butter, and after them cooking down and becoming translucent, as you can see, getting some color, then I added in a 1/3 tablespoon of butter. What butter you use is up to you. Just remember that it's going to affect the flavor. So try your best to use your favorite brand that gives off the best flavor for you. Next, I'll be adding in a tablespoon of butter. I was still trying to decide whether I was going to add in just 1 tablespoon or 2 tablespoons, but I added it in increments just to see how I was feeling. But I just ended up just using 1 tablespoon. And then I added in my mushrooms. Now, I did make a mistake. I should have added in my mushrooms first with the aromatics and the butter, but you know what? Doing it this way will not harm anybody. Obviously, adding it to the aromatics first will help to brown the mushrooms and, you know, get some flavor on them, a bit more flavor, but this is still fine. It's still fine. It's fine. We're fine. Just to show you that mistakes happen in the kitchen and we just have to find a way to move on. We just improvise, okay? Anyway, and then I added in 2 cups of some milk. I'm using some soy milk. You can use whatever milk you want, or whatever milk you have, but I did ensure that I used the Clover brand, which was the unsweetened one, particularly so that I didn't have a sweet bechamel sauce. And then you're gonna close that with a lid and let it boil for a while the sauce thickens. After about 5 minutes have passed, you'll see that the sauce will start simmering away and thickening as well, and the mushroom aroma, wow, it just smells so good, guys. But trust me, it smells much better with brown mushrooms. Anyway, I'm done advertising brown mushrooms. I will now be adding in my spices, and those will be half a teaspoon of black pepper, and then give that a stir. And then I'll also be adding in some nutmeg. I do think that adding nutmeg is a step we should not skip, because it does add a little something different to this dish. And nutmeg, you know what, nah, as a flavor on its own, it's not that nice, but if you know how to add it in moderation, it can really make the simplest dish really delicious. So please do not skip out on the nutmeg. I will be adding in a quarter of a teaspoon of nutmeg, and then we'll be adding in our pasta. I am using leftover pasta. The pasta that I was using was some pasta that my sister made the day before. She added some turmeric, that's why it looks a bit yellow. She added some turmeric and some peppers and some lentils, but it was a really dry pasta, and that's why I decided to zhuzh it up with a nice creamy mushroom sauce. And the spices that she added were very simple. I think she just added salt and herbs, so it really didn't make that much of a difference that I was using leftover pasta, but it did add a little bit more flavor. This is a nice fun way to use up some leftover pasta, especially if you have a lot and you don't want to be eating the same boring meal. And as usual, thank you for watching. Please do like, subscribe and comment below.